Season 2 of Darkness is a 6-episode podcast examining a series of package bombs that exploded at homes throughout the Austin, Texas area in 2018. The bombs killed 3 people and injured 6 more over a period of nearly 20 days, causing fear to envelop the city during Austin's biggest festival. Hosted by Ashley Miznazi and produced by the Drag Audio Production House, you'll hear emotional stories of resilience from the survivors of these crimes, accounts of pain and recovery from the victims' loved ones, and the questions they still have 3 years later. The podcast takes a closer look at the efforts of law enforcement officials who work to stop the bloodshed, with interviews with the lead investigators for the FBI, ATF, and Austin Police. You'll also hear about how the bombings exposed Austin's racial wounds, as members of Austin's Black community felt they were being targeted by the bomber and ignored by investigators. Listen to Season 2 of Darkness on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, listeners. This is Ben because Amber is sitting on the couch, relaxing, being pregnant, waiting for this baby to pop out, to slide out. All right, what do we got? So we are here only because of you, listeners. Thank you so much, and special shout out to 3 new patrons who joined on Patreon, which you can find in the show notes. Ainsley, Darlene, and Pat Mack RN. Thank you so much for your support. And if you are unable to support us financially, you can always write us a podcast review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. That is an amazing way for other people to discover our show. And Pat Mack also gave us an amazing review. So I'm going to go ahead and read that here. The title of this is Feels Like Home. Is it weird to say this podcast feels like home? LOL, I only say that because the conversation that Amber and Ben have always come off as if you're sitting and listening to 2 friends nerd out with you. I came to the Sci-Fi Sci via Amber and her TikTok and IG Friday Plant singing videos. I enjoy you both so much. I'm a very proud and loud blurred, and I love how Amber and Ben both embody how existing in the nerd space of sci-fi/fantasy space doesn't look one way. Being a Black man, I feel the way I exist in these worlds is rarely discussed, so thank you both, particularly Amber for showing that Black folk can exist as our authentic selves in these spaces. I've enjoyed your talks, particularly your episodes around Lovecraft Country a while back. I'm a registered nurse and graduate student, and I listen to your podcast on my way into clinic most mornings, and it allows me to start my day off in a fun and light way. Keep up the great work, you two, and congrats and best wishes on the baby. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Pat Mack. And finally, for our patrons, we always give a book giveaway. So for the May book giveaway, we're going to be giving the comic book Hard Ears, which we discussed in episode 61. So thank you so much for listening. And now let's get started with the show. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Sci under the Believe Podcast Network, a podcast about Black science fiction and fantasy and staying on the same page of our marriage. Today for episode 80, we'll be interviewing the phenomenal Danielle Pinnock about her role on the TV show Ghosts, available to stream now on Paramount Plus.
Danielle!
How are you? It's great to see y'all.
It's so good to see you. You are glowing.
You too, beauty. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm just very impressed because you look incredible.
Are you kidding? I'm not showered if that makes you any happier.
It honestly, it does.
I was like, blah Zoom.
Listen.
I love Zoom.
Zoom is a magical place. Obviously I'm gonna intro you and everything, but like the world of self-tapes and Zoom meetings, I don't hate it. I don't hate a 15-minute Zoom.
I'm right there with you.
Listen.
I'm right there with you.
As a teacher, though, like having 8th graders on Zoom, I'd rather pluck my eyes out and or I don't know, have my fingernail removed. All right, we've been learning about torture in my 8th grade civics class. So what else?
I love that you're like, we've been learning about torture. You've been teaching torture.
I've been teaching torture to my 8th grade students, but I would rather have that happen instead of a Zoom meeting. But with you, any day. I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity.
We are. Danielle, I just want to thank you for setting aside some time to do this because I'm sure like everybody wants to talk to you all the time. I'm still your podcast with Nicole Byer just dropped and I've already listened to it twice.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun.
So I just can't, I'm so grateful that you're joining us this morning. And your plants look incredible. So I'm just going to intro you and then we're going to just like talk shit for the hour and just talk about how incredible you are.
But also like celebration because we like ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, we love ghosts, friend. But yes, but we are gonna, have some fun.
Okay. Perfect.
So here's your intro, and let me know if you want me to add more accolades because I can always we can fix and edit it now. Okay, so here's quick. I was initially introduced to Danielle as one half of the internet duo #Books. You've seen this bubbly Black girl on Young Sheldon. This is Us, Black Lady Sketch Show, and now she's serving supernatural realness with CBS's comedy sitcom Ghosts. It is my biggest achievement in life. Yes, I'm including my wedding. Yes, I'm including getting pregnant to introduce you, Danielle Pinnock, to the Sci-Fi Side podcast. Welcome to the show.
I'm dead. Thank you for having me.
You have those days where people are like, what's the greatest day of your life? And you're like, I want to say my wedding, but when I got this role, that felt a little bit better.
I'm trying to tell you that no shade to our wedding, which I loved, but going to wine country and having lots of wine and pretending to be bougie for a week was like the best time of my life.
Listen, it has nothing to do with Jack, nothing to do with Ben, but it's just like, that was a really great day as well. And I'm going to celebrate that in myself.
That's so true. That's so true. Thank y'all so much for having me.
The pleasure is ours. So how are you doing today? Is this how early you typically wake up? Walk me through just a Saturday in Danielle's world.
Yeah, you know what? Ironically, I'm up very early now. I used to love to just sleep in and then watch Netflix because that was always my jam. But now I'm like on my little lifestyle change. So I'm up getting my little workout in. And then like talking with my family either overseas or the ones that are in New York because of the time difference. And then sometimes I'm either teaching actors because I still work as an acting coach.
Oh, that's awesome.
Even though I'm like
and when do you sleep
now. I know, literally, I still get my little 8 hours. I'm in bed by 10.
Nice.
Trying to change it up this year. I'm trying to change it up.
Well, technically, I guess you are a ghost, so ghosts don't need sleep, right? So there you go. Justification.
He thinks he's a comedian. So thank you for humoring us, Danielle.
Okay, so I feel like I have like a parasocial relationship with you because I followed like #book and stuff. And I feel like you're a nerd. So would you consider yourself a nerd? And I mean this in the most respectful way. Like, are you a nerd?
Yeah, without question. I mean, I'm a theater geek through and through. And
right.
Yeah, that like without question, like I was looking for my glasses because like literally right now I can't even really see anybody on this Zoom. But I'm just blinking and smiling. I don't even wear regular glasses. I wear bifocals. So it's like they're like
sexy.
Yo, since I was like 10 years old, like I had no chance ever.
Wow. That it's so funny because of racism and our child coming, people all the time are like, aren't you super excited for this baby to have Ben's eyes? And I'm like, Ben can't see shit.
Yeah, I can't see
I have perfect vision. But because he has a colored eye, if you will. And so sometimes I find myself being like, well, Ben has horrible vision. Mm-hmm. And I have 20/20 vision. So what are you asking me, friend? You know what I'm saying? But that's fun. But I didn't realize how expensive glasses were until I was in a relationship because I don't need them. I never knew what a privilege that was. And so when he was going to get a new prescription every 6 to 12 months, I was like, you can't be changing eyes like that, right? And he's like, yes, you need an upgrade that consistently.
That's real. And like it depends on like how great you're starting to do in life too. Like before I had income, my lens crafters were like not stylish at all. It was
Mhm.
like a big librarian frame. Like I literally looked like a character out of Matilda. Like it was not the business at all. And then there was a point where I was always losing my glasses. So when I
Yeah.
was like a teenager, my grandmother put that string around it
Oh
to hang
no,
around my neck.
friend.
And I'm like, yo, like what else can y'all do to me? Like what else
Every
can y'all do?
teenage boy's fantasy right there.
It's
Glasses with the I want my bitch with glasses with the strings on them.
Like
Yes.
never in the strings aren't in Cosmo. Like never in the land of Neverland is Jet Beauty of the Week wearing the glasses with the string. Like they played me. They played
Oh,
me.
yes.
That's
Well, since we're there, walk us through, paint us a picture of a young Danielle. What was young Danielle reading? What was she writing in her journal? What was she watching on TV? Give us little Danielle.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. So first of all, I grew up in my grandmother's house, which you know I say just played me as a kid because I never really had like normal childhood experiences.
So your favorite show was In the Heat of the Night, right?
You know, like literally, like
Matlock.
she was also very very Christian. And so was my mom, but my mom was not as Christian as my grandmother. So we would be in church all weekend. Like that was Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday, church.
Same.
Wow.
My dad was a pastor, so yep. Church like from 8 in the morning to
Yeah.
3 in the evening.
She was what, Seventh-day Adventist?
She actually was. She was Seventh-day Adventist. She was Seventh-day Adventist. So we were there all day, every day. And then it would be like these older, elderly church ladies at the house coming to pray all day in the week. Like
Yeah.
Wednesdays, Bible
Pray
study.
without ceasing. Pray without ceasing.
Oh,
That's the Bible, Danielle.
No,
So that's
like
a really great improv character for you. Like,
Are they too triggering?
because you know it so well.
yeah, like these toothless Jamaican church ladies, bro. Like, and I was like, can I please just watch Moesha? Like, that's all I really wanted to do. Like, Moesha was like my favorite show growing up. I would record it like on my little VCR. I'm huge fan of Arthur, still to this day. DW is the queen of queens. I was a huge fan of like Word Up magazine because like I'm a East Coaster, so like Word Up magazine, loved B2K, loved like, oh my gosh, Aaliyah literally was a guardian angel for me. Like
you needed these friends because of like the juxtaposition of all of these like hip Black girls on the rise with you probably over here speaking in tongues on the weekend.
No, literally. I was like, these are my patron saints. Like Aaliyah is everything. But Little Kim changed my life. I was like, when Little Kim had that little thing on the left
star
boob,
nipple,
I was like,
so how did you get away with these two different worlds you were in? If you were over, like, did they say like, Danielle, why don't you get up here and pray? And then you were like, Mo to the eight. Like,
and that's when Danielle learned how to be an actress.
Right.
No, in real time though. It was not until I got into high school that I started rebelling. I had some like church friends who were very rebellious and we all became really cool. We were also all plus size. I don't know. I was like this part of the show. Like we were like this plus size girl group, and I had this one friend that was on a South Jersey, and she'd be like, "Girl, we about to go to New York. We should get fake IDs." I was like, "Yeah, I'm about it. Am I? But okay, I think we should just do it. I don't know."
How did yours look? Was it like a white girl? You're like,
no, black girl.
Yes.
She was like, "Girl, we about to go to the club because I heard Little Mo was in concert." Okay, like I used to be so terrified of everything because I was just terrified of my grandmother's wrath and my mom. But like she was the hook up. My first club, I went with her. This is like my church friend. First club, like first cigarette was with her. Like she was such I needed a friend like that to show me the world because I was like, I would have been a mess in college. Absolutely disastrous.
Oh my gosh. I hope y'all still communicate to this day. It's so nice to like it's funny when you look back and you decide like I have to be friends with these people so that way when we all need each other's clothes, we can wear
Yeah.
each other's clothes.
We were the traveling pants for real, traveling plus size pants in real time.
Right. Like everybody in the group kind of needs to be around the same size range because like it just wouldn't even make sense if we had like one tiny friend. It's like I need to be able to wear everybody's stuff and we all need to be able to pass this ID back. So let's just like all find each other and look the same. Were you ever caught by your grandma?
Yeah, without question. The thing is, when I was a teenager, I had an attitude problem. So I was like
Guilty.
really, really good in elementary school, really thriving in middle school, top of the class. And then when I went to this private school and I saw how these kids were acting, and I was like, oh, well, I didn't know that was an option for me. And it was never. It was never an option. But I used to be trying and like rolling my eyes, and my grandma was like, "What's happening there?"
She just like exercise you and holy oil.
No, she actually sent me to Jamaica for a summer.
Oh,
Yeah,
was that like?
yeah.
Because that sounds like a fantasy in everybody's mind. It's like, weren't you just drinking out of coconuts and eating festival all weekend? They're like,
I wasn't in the tourist areas.
right.
So I was with family, and it's a very rural part of the island, and it was actually during a time when like electricity was gone at like 7 p.m. and like we would have to go down to the river, boil the water for a bath, and like there are no
Wow.
windows, so like lizards and everything was in the bed with you. Like you could wake up with a lizard right next to you, but it was a beautiful experience for me as a kid because I realized how much privilege I had in the States and being like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, this is what my family is coming from. Do you know what I mean? And like, I need to stop acting up because they came here and into America, and it was so hard for them to like try, you know what I mean, to try to live this American dream. And I'm a direct, like a descendant of that.
Correct.
I was born in
Yeah.
this country, so I was like, let me stop cutting up. And let me just get my stuff together so I could start making my family proud. And it really was a big turning point in my life because I was like, okay, all right, Danielle, chill out, chill out, chill out.
Oh, I hear that. I mean, I think every teenage girl just fights with their mother, fights with their grandmothers. And I remember when I found out I was having a girl, I called my mom and she was like, oh, I can't wait for y'all to just be cussing each other out when she's a teenager. I was like, really? That's all you have to say to me? She's like, no, it's gonna happen. Just wait for you. I was like, well, no, because I'm gonna be a cool mom, whatever. She was like, sure.
Yeah, you can stop the cycle.
Yeah, she was like legit plotting. She's like, I might just start the argument just to sit back and watch y'all fight because this is the best karma ever. I do that, right?
Yeah, you sure did. But you're gonna do fine because she's been, we're gonna go to family therapy, and you've been working through your,
Yes.
your trauma.
Yes,
and
haven't we all?
Your adult.
It's
being
still
the
gonna be
eldest.
hard. Parenting is still like, even when you've read every book and every therapy session, this kid is still gonna throw you a curveball, but we're excited.
Oh my gosh, y'all are gonna be the best parents ever. Are you kidding? Best parents
We'll
ever.
see. We'll see. We're gonna try our best.
Yes.
But back to you. Let's get into some acting. Sorry, Ben. I'm
You
fangirling here.
Fangirl away.
So how do we make this transition from, having this hard but humbling summer in Jamaica to this, like going from like Bad Girls Club to theater and Temple and then eventually
Yeah.
the UK? Like talk us through when you knew you wanted to be an actor and started going after that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my mom she was a single mom, and I needed an after school activity because she worked late. So
Correct.
she was like, why don't you do theater? And thank Mrs. Morrow at Saddle River Day School was like, yeah, we'll take her. And that's really how I got into theater. I was really thrown into it. But I loved it, and it was the first time that I felt like I could express myself. And I was such a shy kid coming up, and I I gripped onto it. And also it was like the best thing that I could do. Like I was horrific at chemistry, horrific at like all these other things. And I was like, but I could act. Okay. And I remember telling my mom and being like, this is what I want to major in college. And she was like, there's no way. She's like, this is a fun little thing for me to do, for you to do while I'm at work. And I was like, I'm going to major in this. So she was like, as a Jamaican mom, she was like, okay, well, you have to have a minor in pre-law or political science. And that's exactly what I ended up doing at Temple University. And my second year that I was there, we got this show called In Conflict, and I had auditioned, booked it. And on our final night of the performance, Broadway producer came and was like, y'all are going to Broadway. And we were like, wait, is this a joke? Is this how things actually happen? And they took us out of school for my entire junior year, and we toured to Scotland at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And we did stuff at the Long Wharf in Connecticut. And then we were off Broadway at the Barrow Street Theater. And New York Times raved about the show. And then we were then plucked back in to college for my senior year. And it was just to get all of that professional experience in the middle of my training ground. And that was what solidified the fact that I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yes, was that enough to convince your mom? Like, it's like, Mom, look,
like,
we're traveling. Because you know, Black parents would be like, call me when you're Halle Berry, okay?
Exactly. No, but for her, she was like, okay, you're getting paid. Great. You know, like, as long as you can come off my health insurance, that's fantastic. So she just was like really hyped that I was like getting a paid job in the middle of my college years. And then I went to grad school overseas at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire. Sounds way fancier than it was. Lots of cobblestones.
We love a cobblestone.
Yeah, we heard that like you saw like a knife fight or something, like your first day.
Yes, please tell our listeners about this knife fight.
So my first day of school, I was moving in. I called it the Beauty and the Beast mansion. It was literally like Real World meets Big Brother, this place that we were staying in. And as I was like loading all my luggage in, these two people just start cursing each other out on the street. And I was like, okay, I don't know what they're saying.
Because it was like British slang. It's like,
I was like, they're yelling.
I'm kind of turned on, but they're cussing each other out. What's happening?
I was like, I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't sound right. And then they started pulling out knives, and we were like, wait. And my mom got in the middle of the knife fight and was like, Jesus loves everybody. And then I think they were just so weirded out by her bravery and her weirdness that they just stopped, and they were like, okay. Wow. And then they just stopped the fight, and she was like, I am Joan of Arc. Like, and I was like, all right, Mom, come on.
So where can we find this footage? Have they hit the internet?
No footage, thank God.
Was nobody like, this is too good?
Not at that time. I think we all still had Nokia flip phones.
Dang. I mean, I guess that's still a step down in Chicago because people pull out guns here. So I don't know.
Yes. This happened pre-Chicago, right?
This was pre-Chicago. This was pre-Chicago. Yeah.
I'll take a knife fight over a gunfight. And just for me personally, I don't know.
So was this in London?
This is in Birmingham, which is about like 90 minutes away from London. And yeah, I don't know. Like when I was growing up, I actually I spent a lot of my growing up in Boston and Dorchester in the 90s. And then I moved to New Jersey, and like I've been around gunshots, like going to West Indian Day Parade and them shooting up the parade and things like that. So this is just something that was something that I was like used to growing up, like at the end of a big reggae concert, guns, you know what I mean? Like, and I just have memories of my mom like laying over me, like she's like, just stay still. I'm like, is this what all concerts are? Like, what's going on? So like,
it's like, we're going out tonight, we might die, but if we don't die, it's gonna be the best concert ever.
Yo, the 90s were wild. Like, you could be I remember my mom talking about she was in the club, and then the club got, you know what I mean? Like, people beefing. And I'm like, yo, 90s were real. They were real. They were real. So like being in this night fight with my mom, I was just like, oh my God, this just feels like so us that we would be.
Like in my brain, it's like, oh shit, we got Slytherin versus Hufflepuff out here on the street. I don't even know what I would have done if I would have like gotten to like
what's happening?
fancy Britain and then saw a knife fight. I'm like, see, they just as uncivilized as our asses. Like,
no,
like
that's
that's
the same
like the first thing
thing.
you say. Yes.
Don't let the accents fool you. Don't let the accents
Listen.
fool you. But we had my graduate school experience was phenomenal. I had the time of my life while I was in school, and I loved my experience. It was so needed and so necessary.
Where in that experience did you, and you know, as somebody who has a whole career and is constantly asked about their husband, where we'll keep it brief about accent coach Jack, but where in this journey did you meet Jack, and give us like a quick, you know, your London love, your UK
Yeah, no,
love.
absolutely. So Jack and I, we met actually I think maybe the second or third week of school. There was a party that was going on. He wasn't even attending the program yet. And I was looking for a roommate because we had this like big castle of an apartment that we all lived in, and this one girl, she was supposed to live with us, but her visa got denied, and the landlord wanted to rake up the rent. So we were just like, nope, I can't afford extra pounds. I was like, these sterlings, this is different. This is different. And it's more US dollars. So we went to this party trying to scout like another roommate, and I saw him and I was like, hey, you know, do you want to, you know, live with us? And he was like, yeah, sure. No recollection of that conversation. Like no,
He
like
was just so taken aback by you. He was probably like, I don't even need a place to live. I just want to be with her. So like,
no,
let me sell my spot.
I have no recollection. And then like 3 weeks later, he's like walking down in a cow onesie, and while I'm eating some Weetabix, and I was like, who is that? And I thought we had like an intruder, because this is how bad my memory is. I had no clue who he was. So thank God I went to grad school with one of my best friends in the whole wide world. His name is Von Dexter Montague. And I don't know how we ended up in college and graduate school together. But I was like, Vaughn, there's a strange white man.
Yes, you should have texted you like, is somebody
I was like,
him last
Vaughn.
night? Like, what? Who is this? Yes.
I was like, there's a very strange white man in the apartment, and he's like, oh yeah, that's Jack. We just went to the market. We just went, and I was like, oh, so y'all already kikied, so great. And that's how we met. And he was, you know, not the most charming person when I first met him. Jack is a really serious, I mean, especially at that time, I've glowed him up, be clear, but like he was nerding out. Like it was like, I'm a nerd, but he was uncomfortably nerdy.
Yeah, I can't relate to that at all.
Mm-hmm. I love him so much, but I was like, okay.
So what's something nerdy that he was like? What was he? What was that nerd game he was spitting to you?
You know, the comic book collection was serious. Ooh. I would also
just nothing turns you on like a comic book. I'm like, you know,
the comic book collection was serious. He has a lot of little collection things,
like Batman figurines or like
like figurine. And I was just like, yo, this is really intense, because it's like I've been with like really popular, like really dope guys, like, you know what I mean? My whole God, like they were
swag down. They too swaggy for the collection. Right.
We're
they might have it, but it ain't out for everybody to see.
Yeah, and I was like, this is different.
This is new. Well,
is he a Doctor? Sorry, is he a Doctor Who fan? Does he like that? Okay. I do have to ask about the show, because Ghost is a remake, and I have met British people who are very like pretentious when it comes to American remakes of British shows. So how does he I know this could be a controversial question, but how does he like the American version of Ghost compared?
He loves it. He loves it, and so does his whole family. I mean, that's the beautiful thing of like him. It's like whatever I'm in, he supports, even if it's a mess. Not saying that Ghost is the best, but like It has been such an incredible journey working on this show and like having his support. And he came up to Montreal with me while we were shooting. We were there for 7 months. And it's this opportunity has been like the greatest moment of my entire life being on this series. And everybody from crew to cast to the execs to the showrunners are just so pleasant to work with and so fun. And the cast, it's like that's us genuinely for real. When y'all are watching the show, like we genuinely love each other. And I wish that people could see the bloopers because we're always cutting up like every take. So it's been such a blast. And shout out to the UK version because we would not exist without them. So I'm so grateful that show exists so that I can now be a part of something really special too.
Oh, I love that. We're going to take a quick little break and we're going to talk more about Ghosts when we return, okay?
Before we continue with the show, I wanted to talk a little bit about Noom. Noom uses the latest in behavioral science to empower people to take control of their health for good through a combination of psychology, technology, and human coaching on their platform to help millions of users meet their personal health and wellness goals. A lot of people face pressures to change themselves to fit other people's expectations, and the more freeing solution is to find things that work for you. Noom understands that everyone's weight loss journey is unique, and what works for someone else doesn't mean it'll work for you. That's why Noom's approach adapts to your lifestyle. It's flexible, and it focuses on progress, not perfection, allowing you to work toward your goals at a pace that's comfortable for you. Noom Weight makes it easy to start your weight loss journey and stay on track with personalized lessons that help you gain confidence and practical knowledge, one-on-one coaching, and a cognitive behavioral approach that teaches you how to be mindful of your habits. 75% of Noom Weight users finish the program, and more than 60% of users that engage with the program kept the weight off for a year or more. So start building better habits for healthier long-term results. Sign up for your trial at Noom.com/believe. Again, that's Noom, NOOM.com/believe.
Okay, we're back. Let's get into, before we even jump into how incredible Ghosts is, because I mean, we are laughing, and then every now and then I'm like, wait,
why am I crying?
Oh,
you have me crying. Oh my gosh.
Before we do that, I want to talk
sorry,
about.
I have a very serious question. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Damn!
I'm so sorry. I just need to know, does anybody really have a tattoo of your face on their back?
No.
Does anybody know any? Okay, so we were actually talking. But we might get matching tattoos of your face. Is that okay?
Wait. I thought you were gonna say of each other. I was like, yeah, go off.
Of you.
No, I know.
Danielle, can we get a picture of you on a? Okay, I'm sorry.
Danielle, what would I look like with a picture of a portrait of a white man on my back?
We have to get your face.
Yo, I was like, I don't judge. Listen, live y'all lives. People gotta live their lives.
Y'all crazy as fuck. But I don't.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go back to your. It's just an itching question. I was like, it was a really great tattoo. For those who have not watched the show yet, there's a wonderful man, a beautiful, wonderful fan of Danielle's character, Alberta, and he has a picture of her on his back, and he's just the best. He's just a very.
You kind of spoiled that.
Sorry, I'm sorry. We're trying not to spoil anything, but I just needed to know. Sorry, Danielle. Okay.
Yes,
I just want to know because as a struggling artiste myself, let's talk about the life cycle of this role. Because I know, like, even #book was created because like Hollywood be on some bullshit sometimes, and so, or acting in general. So when did you get this call of like your agent's like, hey, I got a role for you, maybe not, like talk us through all of that to now having this incredible Ghosts family?
Yeah, well, funny enough, there were two iterations of this show. So there was a pre-pandemic version of Ghosts where they had their whole cast already. And then there was the pandemic version of Ghosts. And I actually came in, and Rahman and Sheila, we were all replacements.
Oh my. So
Yes.
so there's somebody salty as fuck out there right now being like, wow, that could have been me up there.
No, and that's the thing. I've talked to her and she is so freaking supportive. Like one of the dopest black women just are just everything.
Right.
You
Okay,
know,
I
and
just want to
she's
make
also
sure
and,
she wasn't
and
crying
also
on the
working.
bathroom floor somewhere being like, I'm
No.
so happy for you, sis.
No, she's working.
We're happy.
She's
Great.
working. I don't think I can mention who it is, but she's working in a major way. So I was like,
Okay,
you got booked. Go off, sis.
Yes.
But yeah, the call happened in November and my agent was like, hey, there's a show. It's based off of a UK version. Take a watch of it. I think this is something that you've been kind of asking for the last couple of years. It's
So this was
weird,
November
it's
of the pandemic year. Because this is like
is all 2020. All 2020.
okay, got it.
In the middle of the, like literally in the thick of pandemic, pre-vaccines, no conversation about vaccines or anything like that. So I said, okay, yeah, it was like my first audition that I'd had in the pandemic. So I was like, let me just put it on tape, I guess, because I'd been literally sitting in my apartment making bread like the rest of the world and like
sourdough.
watching TVs, sourdough, and renovating my little apartment 20 times over. And I was like, okay, yeah, acting. What is this again? Do I remember? Let me put something on tape. And I just remember having so much fun. And I borrowed my mom's little shake and go wig.
Yes. I was like, did you have the Alberta wig or you borrowed a wig? Okay.
I borrowed my mom's shake and go wig. I had my 30th birthday dress on that had all these sparkles, and I had found some fur and a little red hat that I had used when I was like in Major Barbara in Chicago. And I was like, this is just gonna be the outfit. This is it. And I put it on tape. My agent was like, wow, this is like the best tape that you've sent in. Like, no shade, we love all your tapes, but this is really funny. And I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, we love that feedback.
And then I just forgot about it. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, well, hopefully more auditions will come. But I was secretly praying, like, I hope they call me back because I was like, I really love this.
Yes, we like cross our fingers on one, but we're like, but it's cool if I don't get it. It's like, but I know I fucked that audition up. So
I was
good.
like, I'm praying. I really was praying. And then like the next day, my agent called and said, hey, they're going to screen test you. I said, wait, we're not even going to go to callbacks.
No callback.
I was like, we can just go straight to the screen test. So they said it's going to be on Zoom. I've never done a test on Zoom before. So I said, well, hold on now. How is this
Can you talk our non-actor audience through what a screen test is and how you were fast tracked? Because this is like, you were put on like from zero to screen test. Yes,
because we were like, wait a minute. So usually what happens when you do an audition, hopefully you will get a call back, and that's when the casting directors are in the room, maybe a producer or two, and then sometimes after the callback they will have either a producer session or a director session. Mm-hmm. And that's when like all the producers are in the room. Some of them are shadily watching you from somewhere virtually. And then you
like
do
camera off. Right.
Yes, exactly. You'll do the scenes again. Sometimes they give you adjustments to the scenes. There'll be brand new scenes that they want to see you do. And then sometimes the next step after that is a chemistry test. So they'll have another actor come in, or the lead of the series will come and read. And then the producers and the directors, they want to see how y'all act together. And then the last step of that is a screen test. So that's everybody at the studio, that is everybody at the network, all producers, all directors, the writers, everybody's there. And sometimes, I mean, like pre-pandemic, it could be like 100 people in a room. You know what I mean? Like it could just be 100 suits in a room, 2 cameras. One camera is like CBS New York. You know what I mean? Like those are the people that are watching there, and then
like don't even look over there because they're like, you know who this is, right? Don't tell me. Just let me do my job.
It was just like, for me, my anxiety used to be on 10 million because I was like, oh God, it's so much pressure to do well. And I'd gone through so many screen tests in my career just waiting for like a job like this, but to be fast tracked from a self-tape to a screen test for me was unheard of. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. So I did the screen test in my kitchen, which is like so weird.
Really nice though, and like grounding to be like, I'm barefoot in my kitchen. I got
No, literally just like chilling, and like Jack was like behind the camera like this, and I'm like, please go away. I was like, please go away.
we love Jack.
And then they were like, yeah, we think we got it. Thank you so much. And then they called back again and they said, well, can we test her and can she do one without the red hat?
Wow.
I said, wait. So y'all want me to do another audition without the hat? They're like, yeah, we just want to get one
The
take.
same thing, but
with
they're
no
like,
hat.
somebody was like, that hat is so bad, I can't even hear what she's saying. So why don't we take that?
Amber has said that to me before about certain things. Like I'll
Like, I
wear
can't- I
like a
can't even go to
graphic
dinner.
tee, or like she's like, you can't do that. I can't take you seriously.
I was like so shook, and I was like, damn it, I should never have worn this damn hat. So then they tested me on a Friday, and it was the same day as, oh gosh, this was like the craziest industry day I've ever had in my life. It was the same day as my pitch with my very dear friend Poonam Patel. We were pitching an animated series called Unmentionables to Taraji P. Henson. And it was the first day that we were like our first time meeting her, first time pitching to her. And like the audition for Ghosts and the pitch were at the same time at 1 o'clock.
So you're like, so this is either gonna be a really good day or a horrible day.
Because my manager was like, we're just gonna pray that it's not in one. We're just gonna pray it's not in one. And then both of them were like, can she do one? And we were like, no. So thank God the people at Ghost, they were like, you know what, we'll be able, Taraji, that's amazing. We'll push ourselves back a couple hours. So I was able to do
I was
both.
like, who got bumped?
Literally. Okay. And my agent was like, you may lose this job because they may not have the availability, but you know, we're just gonna hope for the best. And thank goodness they did. I took that daggone hat off, and I was so rattled from my I was like, oh my God, I just met Taraji P. Henson, that like my energy in that audition, that second test, was so like, because I was so excited. And I had like, I remember flubbing a line on one of the sides, and they were like, okay, yeah, we think we got it. And I've never had the confidence to do anything like this. And I was like, y'all really got it?
Right.
Y'all know
and
y'all didn't get it. That
probably
was a mess.
what got you the job. Like just treating them like, okay, one-on-one, did y'all actually get the shot? Like those are the little things that they're like, we want to work with her. We don't actually
I couldn't believe it. I think I was just confident because I was in my living room. You know, and I could just be like, y'all didn't get that. Let's do it again. And they were like, okay, yeah, sure. So let's go back to the first take. So and then we just started working. And then it was just like, oh, okay, got you. Can I improv? Am I allowed to do that? And I improved every single every take. And they were just like, great, I think we got it. And I was like, okay, cool. And then the weekend came. I was meeting with Lanisa. It was the weekend right before Thanksgiving. We were doing a hashtag book meeting to figure out like what we're gonna post and all that stuff. And I had her on Zoom, and my manager called. He said, "Oh, I'm outside," and I was like, "Okay, is he bringing a residual? What's going on?"
Right.
And he had these little champagne
look
chocolates.
through your blinds.
And we were so far from, because it was like before the pandemic. He was like all the way at the bottom of the steps and had these little champagne chocolates on the top. And he was like, "You booked it," and I was like, what? I couldn't even believe it. And he was like, we've been working for this for the last 6 years. And I'm about to cry. Like, he was bawling in the mask, and we couldn't even hug each other. Like, I just was like, yo, it was insane. And then I came back in, and Lanisa was like, you taking all long. Where were you at? And I was like, girl, I booked it. She was like, and then we actually have a video recording of when I booked it, and when she saw, because we were recording for our hashtag book meeting, and like it has been literally that amazing. I mean, this job is a life goal, you know, like I've always wanted to play, and I feel like a lot of times as a plus size Black woman, like I never get the opportunity to have fun in this way. It's usually like, oh, we just want you to play, you know, the receptionist and answer a call or be this. But she is so messy. You know what I mean? Alberta's character is so messy, and she's so fun, and at times can be poignant. She's possibly a murderer, possibly knew Al Capone. Like, she's so full of herself and full of life. It's like a dream role, truly.
It's so interesting that because Alberta is sort of used to dating like boys with a little bit more swag, like you, right? And then not to give spoilers, but it's baby learning to grow, and so we're one of the things that I really like about this show is that the growth of characters, and you see
Yes.
Alberta grow, and I've seen like I haven't really seen that in a lot of TV shows, but it
Yeah.
reminds me a lot of The Good Place in that sense. The right and yeah, which is one of my favorite TV shows. I don't think I cried a lot at The Good Place, and I cry a lot at Ghost. So I tell people, so like how do you see this show as far as like Alberta's growth and future seasons, which by the way, congratulations, renewed for season
Thanks.
2. So yeah, talk to us about Alberta's growth and where you see that heading.
Yeah, well, definitely in season one, I think all of the ghosts were a little apprehensive of Sam and Jay moving in. It's like, oh gosh, what they about to do? We already have our thing going. They got to come in and throw a wrench in it. But then I think the thing that's so beautiful and so well crafted by our executive producers and all the writers, Joe Port and Joe Wiseman, and every single writer, is that with each of these episodes, we get to see a glimpse of who these people were before,
Mhm.
when they were alive, when they were living. And even if it's not a full flashback episode, like Pete's wife, we get to see the wife actually
Woo!
come in and we're like, oh my gosh. And then the little baby, you know what I mean? I don't want to
The
give too many
baby.
spoilers, but like we get
Yes.
these glimpses at like how incredible or how, weird some of these folks were when they were alive and when they were living. And like I love that Sam and Jay, they get to kind of like explore more of that, with each one individually. And I think we're for Alberta's fans specifically, like the whole season we've been like, was this woman murdered or not? What happened? And this is something she's been living with for the last 100+ years of like, how did I die? It can't
Mhm.
be, you know what I mean? It can't ever be like, something boring. It wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't anything dumb. Y'all are gaslighting me. I know
Right.
in my spirit something happened. And to get a little bit of a clue in that episode is just so great. And I'm excited for season 2. The Joes, I know they're already working on that flashback. I was like, because whenever that flashback is, it has to be fabulous. We got to be in the Harlem Renaissance. I was
Fabulous.
like, I want Alberta out here singing with Al Capone, trying to get her. Like, I was like, let's see how dangerous and how dope this woman was. So I can't wait for the stories that they have in store for season 2. It is going to be a thrill, truly.
For our listeners, just a quick premise of the show Ghost is that you have Sam and Jay, this couple who've inherited this house that is haunted by these ghosts, and about I think 5%. There's very
Yes.
specific world building things in the show that I find absolutely amazing. 5% of people don't go on to the afterlife. Instead, they either get sucked off or
Yes.
uh, or they go
They
down
they get got that gone down
they
on.
get down they go gone down on and so one of the Sam gets a clonk on the head and is now able to see these ghosts that are haunting this mansion. It just goes off from there. And Alberta's character, how would you describe your character, like just as far as like presentation and like where
Yeah.
she's from and all that for
Yeah,
you?
no. Alberta is a hot mess with a heart of gold, without question. She's brassy. She is so full of herself, so over the top, but also has a ton of heart. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
beautiful thing is like a lot of times when people write black characters like this, that's all we're seeing. You know what I mean? We're only seeing the brass. We're only seeing the over the topness. But like she may have a love interest, and for her to now consider what that world would be like for her, she's starting to question love in her afterlife. Like there are moments in the show where she's so poignant, where she talks about the importance of voting to Hetty, this Victorian age woman, and she's like, look sis, like I didn't get the option, because I was black. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
was
they
really
very clear.
hard.
Like Alberta's like, racist.
Yeah, all
Right.
racism.
You know what I mean? Like she's like, yo, 1920s, they were fabulous, but they were also like filled with really, really rough times, for people that look like me. So I just love that they've given her such a great life and inner life, and I'm so hyped to get into this next season. I can't wait.
I was thinking before even talking with you about like how many Black people as ghosts that we've even seen represented. Like not even in comedy, just like horror alone. And there's not really that many. Like I was like, oh, well, maybe like Touched by an Angel. Was she kind of a ghost? Like I was literally trying to like count in my head, because that's just not a world we get to be a part of. So I would love to hear like you get to play a Black supernatural character who is like funny and is a singer, and what does that just mean? I don't know, for the little Danielle who had to be praying without ceasing on the weekends and things like that.
No, it's so funny. It's like I see Alberta as a hidden figure, right?
Yeah.
Because there were so many people in the 1920s and, in just and beyond that we don't know about, because social media wasn't a thing and communication worked differently back then. But like they deserve their, comeuppance. You know what I mean? They deserve to be seen and they deserve to be heard. And I think about like who were the other Langston Hughes of the time? You know what I mean? Who were the other Billie Holidays that may not have gotten famous, but they were struggling, you know what I mean, to like get their chance? Who was the other Ma Rainey? Like who was Ma Rainey competing against? When she was first coming up. And I see Alberta in these in that way. You know what I mean? I see like I'm like really channeling our ancestors in this, you know what I mean, in this role. And I wanted to do her justice. Like I went to dance classes. I'm not a great singer like Amber, so I started doing singing classes.
Okay, pause. So one,
that shocked me, by the way, when Amber said that you weren't a singer. I was like, wait, what?
I heard it, and I was like, I think this is so you do not sing at all.
No, I don't sing. I did like little high school musicals when I was like in high school, but like I don't sing.
Did you sing in the church?
No. Well, couldn't hold a harmony for nothing. Couldn't hold harmony for anything in church, to the point where they're like drama ministry. So I was in here like giving like praise dancing with my little mask and stuff. Yeah, no. Can't do
it. So when they called for this role, even did you? And I also am. I don't consider myself a singer. I grew up in the church, so it's like I can give you if you need me to hit the note, I can harmonize with you. But like I've only had a pocket full of voice lessons like a month before I knew an audition was coming up. Didn't get any of those, and so to hear you say like I don't sing, and I literally play a singing ghost on this show, like. Was that a little bit nerve-wracking going into the audition?
Oh, without question. But the other thing is like in the audition, I was so comfortable in my kitchen that I actually sang in the second take. Like there was a line that I just decided to sing. And I don't even like know where that came from. And then that was enough for them to be like, great, she can sing. And I was like, no, y'all, no, wait, I don't sing. I'm just being smart. So like even in that moment of like, when she's like, when she does that, cause I'm famous in Alberta's fan, and she starts to sing, that was all improv. Do you know what I mean? Like they just let me improvise that entire last moment. Like that line was written, but I was like, I'm just gonna sing it and just see what happens. And then everything after that, from like Billie Holiday, who, Ma Rainey, where, oh my God, Todd, you freaking bastard. All of that is improvised. So, and I was grateful that they kept it in, because sometimes they don't, but I was like, okay, yes, I got my little stuff in. But yeah, I've had to do a lot of prep for this character, a lot of prep, a lot of dramaturgy. But again, I'm a theater nerd, so that's like, I live in dramaturgy. I love it.
Right. And you also probably have been around so many theater kids who just walk around singing anyway, to the annoyance of it all. You're like, all right, we get it. You can
all the time.
Get it. You know all of 6. We know.
Brandon Scott Jones, who plays the Revolutionary War Ghost, is a theater nerd too, and that's just something we do on set all the time. Like he'll say coffee, and then we're just like, the coffee cup, I think about you. And then we're like, we just go to Broadway musicals, and like we're always singing all backstage. It's so fun working with him.
I love your so Isaac, right? The character.
Yes.
Yeah, Isaac the character. And he really has it in for you. I mean, he has it in for a lot of people, but like when you were running against each other, you know,
He was
voting, but
pissed.
also he was just enjoying like your suffering. Like I feel like Isaac and you have this Isaac and Alberta's character has this beef, and
Yes.
I'm curious like where that's gonna go.
I can't wait. I can't wait. But they're also like the other as toxic as they are to each other. Because be clear, like Alberta is just she goes head to head as well. They also have like a common understanding when it comes to scheming.
Mhm.
Because especially in like Flowers episode, they really kind of they come together and they're like, oh, we're gonna find out the secret. What are we gonna do? So like I'm so excited to explore more moments of that. Because we've been calling that Pony and Bangs because he got that little ponytail and Albert has those bangs. And I was like, yes,
right.
you know what I mean? That little Philly bag.
It's blunt too. I love that bag. That's a
bag.
blunt cut, honey.
It is.
Like, come on, Anna Wintour. Not a hair is out of place on that wig.
Literally. Shout out to Rachel Salmon, the black hairstylist who is thebomb.com. I love her so much. But yeah, I'm so excited to experience more moments with Brandon. I love working with him. Like everybody though, like every single person is a dream. Like Richie Moriarty, unreal. Like to know that that's going to be my romantic interest for the next seasons, couple of seasons if we get that, like a dream. Do you know what I mean? Sheila Carrasco, who plays Flower, watching this woman work, like she is a character actor through and through. And when they say action, seeing her become masterclass. You know, Rebecca Wasaki, like Hetty is. There's every line that comes out of Rebecca's mouth is like earth shattering. Like this woman is a icon. Like Ramon, you know what I mean? Who is the Safis and Devin and like so many Rose and Ukarsh and just and Asher. Like I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Oh nope, I think I got everybody. Like they
It's
all
truly an
are
ensemble.
brilliant.
They could probably
Brilliant.
release like just all of your bloopers, all of your improv,
Oh my
and
God,
that
that
would
could
do
be a whole
just as
episode.
well. That would do just as well as
Well,
all of the episodes.
Amber was showing me some of your TikToks like that you should do on set and stuff like that. I love that. Like you can tell it transfers that you're having fun and like
Yeah.
and I know that you went to Second City and you do improv, and like the improv that I've seen, like when people are having fun and laughing at themselves, that's like what makes the beauty for me of this show and like really great improv. And it's so and it comes out so well. So it's just like,
and not to dig at Second City because we're here in Chicago, but just like you've been through it. Like Second City could really feel sometimes, as somebody who's also sort of been, you know, I am a listeners, I am like a less successful version than Danielle, but I'm like 7 years behind her in this journey. I was like, okay, you did Bob Curry, and now I slowly got into Bob Curry and then couldn't finish because of the pandemic. So you are such a mentor for me, but I found myself in those spaces being like, oh, this is not fun. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I can't do my best work. I'm just understudying. So I'm being told like, make the choices the other girl made. We just want you to do this. And so you're it's so hopeful watching you with that journey, because I'm kind of like, maybe in a couple years I'll get a role that I could just improvise and not be like told to calm down. And
maybe this year. We're not gonna say a couple years, maybe this year it's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, you know, that whole baby thing is cramping my style a little bit.
That's right, bring the baby right on set. Are you kidding?
Right.
Well, speaking of Second City and Alberta's relationship with Al Capone, have you been to the Green Mill here in Chicago?
Oh yes.
You probably performed.
So has that? Do you like? Has that been helpful, like with your sort of like character building? Like I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you that Al Capone stuff. They were 2 lines that they just wrote in different episodes, and then the fans on Twitter were like, boom, we need to see Al Capone flashbacks. And I was like, wait, hold on. And it's so weird how that whole thing got extrapolated. Like, it was literally like, oh gosh, you know, that man was clingy or something. And then she said something about him in a later episode. And people were like, we want the flashback where we see Al Capone. And those, it's like, you never know what's gonna hit. You know what I mean? Like, because she has so many other weird stories about like, oh, we were on a horse and we got, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, Alberta, what's going on, sis? Like, and people really love that Al Capone. So we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll
I mean,
see
and
what
you have the
happens.
experience. You've literally been in a space where Al Capone used to
Yes.
hang out. So you could bring that in. I don't know.
Speaking of which, are you ever coming back to Chicago? I'm hopeful because are you in Canada right now?
No, I'm in Los Angeles right now. Yeah,
You're in
yeah,
LA
I'm at
right
home.
now. Okay. Because so
I'm in Chicago.
you've done Boston, Jamaica, UK,
Yes.
LA. You've been in Canada, right? I'm not way off.
Yeah. I was we were in Montreal shooting. Yeah.
And now you're back in LA.
Back in LA.
Okay, so when are you coming back to Chicago?
I would love to come back to Chicago. I miss it. I miss it so much. I like LA. I've never been like a huge fan of Los Angeles, but I knew I had to come here to work. I say like I was born and raised in Boston, but like my teenage years were in New Jersey. So I'm an East Coaster through and through. Like I really am. Like when you're in LA, you're like, yeah, this is cool, you know. But like, I'm excited for the opportunities that I've gotten while being here, and but I love Chicago. There's nothing like Chicago ever, and the talent in Chicago is unmatched. There's no city in America that's more talented, hands down.
I mean, I message Alicia Beasley all the time. And I'm just like, how are we in the same like?
Yeah.
I'm so fortunate to go get to see you be Lori Lightfoot. Like this is unreal.
She's unmatched.
So Danielle, from one actor to another, do I need to move to LA? Like this isn't a thing, right? Because I get that pinch all the time, and people are like, "Well, it just happens. It hasn't happened because you're not in LA." And I'm like, I just feel like I can stay here in Chicago. But you're gonna give me you're always honest with me.
Yes, I would say when you feel like the time is right, move. But don't move here unless you have representation. You have a solid budget because everything here is double than it is in Chicago.
Right.
And then I also to have like some casting directors that are some fans of both of yours would be great as well too. So then at least you're not like here just chilling for the first year. Like you know that you're going to be doing some projects. But I a great agent, a great manager. When I first got out here, I had an agent and manager, and I was able to work immediately.
Right.
So
like secure that before packing boxes.
Exactly. And because y'all are so amazing on social media, and you have so many like business ventures, like you have podcasts, you have everything that's happening on TikTok and Instagram, you have the yoga, like all the things, like that shouldn't be very hard to find. Y'all are incredible. What y'all have built is unreal. Do you know what I mean? So like
you working on it.
Yeah, y'all are building an empire. We see you and we celebrate y'all for real.
Well, as we wrap up, what's next in the world of Danielle Pinnock?
Or tell us about Unmentionables as well. I'm curious about your animation project as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we are working to pitch Unmentionables to Raji P. Henson, and Anthony Hemingway Productions are EPing the project, which is so dope. I get to work on it with a dear friend of mine from Second City, Poonam Patel. And it's a series. It's basically Toy Story in a millennial's underwear drawer.
This is amazing.
We have, Granny Panty. We got the annoying ass girdle. Like all these people are characters, and
more fantastical elements.
We could cover this on the show.
We absolutely could.
We're having the time of our lives working on that. So we're about to pitch that soon. Lanisa and I are working on our pitch for #booked to develop it into a TV show, Fingers and Toes and everything.
Oh my gosh.
This is so exciting.
What if they don't green light it? Where is the Kickstarter? Just
I know.
We'll green light it.
Fingers and toes and everything crossed. But y'all, I'm not gonna lie. Like this hiatus, I also want to like travel. I really need I'm taking the time to rest, get myself ready for season 2 health wise. Like I want to come back better than ever. So that's what's next. That's what's happening.
I love that. Oh, and then go back to that farm in Jamaica and you're like, y'all did this for me.
Yes, for real.
Y'all made me lose
though.
my attitude and grind. I
No,
appreciate
for
y'all
real,
this.
for in real time, in real time. Shout out to Jamaica.
Shout out to Jamaica. I mean, you're that person that's gonna win the Oscar. Be like, okay, real quick, Jamaica, Jersey, Boston, Birmingham,
literally,
Quebec, Montreal, LA, Chicago, right? And I want to thank Tina, Lanisa. Like it's gonna be
that's
that.
lit. That's gonna be it.
That's
it,
literally
man.
gonna be you. Oh my gosh. Well, Danielle, we have had an incredible time kikiing with you. You look incredible. I'm so glad that this can happen, because I mean, I'm saying 6 months from now, I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, no, you cannot. You have to talk to these 5 people to get to Danielle Pinnock. Like that is where you're gonna be. Like this is your trajectory, and we
Just hit me up.
love Ghosts.
Just hit me up. I'm always available for y'all. Just hit me up.
We love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I will be sure to send you, all the things so that you'll know like when the show drops and everything. Okay.
Yes, awesome. Thank y'all so much, and talk to you soon.
Thank y'all for listening to another episode of the Sci-Fi Side. Up next, we'll be joined with Mr. Larry, the TikTok artist and designer, to discuss Black creativity, cosplay, and Star Trek. And remember, y'all, make sure you put down the phone and pick up a book.